Part 3, Event Mapping. In the beginning of this tutorial, we homogenized the demo scene in VRTK so that all the interactable objects highlight the same way. This simplified our creating the interactable bridge behavior, but now let's see how we can make each object behave individually in terms of the way it gets highlighted. VRTK has a highlighters. Daydream has a different way of doing highlighters. You could choose to just let your app use the device-specific method for highlighting, or you may prefer the behavior to be consistent across all platforms that you're porting your app to. In our case, we'll just create our own highlighter component called MyHighlighter. In the MyHighlighter script, you can specify a highlight color, and you can also specify which model is highlighted. It'll default to the current model, but you may want to have a child and the highlight color you want to use. In the start, we grab the material from the object, then a public highlight function that saves the original color and assigns the highlight color. The unhighlight then restores the color. We save the file and bring it back into Unity, and now we can add this component to the cube. Now we want the object to highlight when you are touching and unhighlight when you're untouching. VRTK has a component called Interactable Object Unity Events. So we will edit the interactable VRTK behaviors and add this component, and then we'll use a BridgeXR input sender to propagate up the touch and untouch events to our app. So now VRTK on touch will raise an event, the BXR input touch. The VRTK on untouch will raise an event untouch. So now on our game object, we add a BXR input receiver component, and then we'll have the object respond to a BXR touch event and call highlight, and a untouch event and call unhighlight. When we press play, you can see that the object highlights when we touch. We can now add the same behavior to the other highlighting objects. The sphere, let's highlight it a different color. And the flying saucer, in that case, the parent object does not have a renderer, but we'll use one of the child objects and have that be what highlights when you touch. Now we're all set. We press play, and you can highlight each interactable object, much like in the original scene, with different colors or whatever technique you decide. Now let's make this also work with the Daydream interactable. Daydream uses the Unity event system events. So we can just use the on-pointer enter and on-pointer exit. So on the Daydream interactable, we'll add the BXR input sender, and we'll add a event trigger component. We'll add an event type on-pointer enter, and have that raise the touch event. and onPointerExit, have that raise the untouch event. Now we switch the active bridge to Daydream and press play, and that's all we needed to change. So in this scene, we've decoupled the device-specific or SDK-specific input events from the application's semantic input events.